He said he was working late. I said, okay, but in my head, I was already counting the lies. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I made a plan because I knew. And soon, so would they. The signs were small at first. A hesitation in his voice when he said he'd be late. A smile that didn't reach his eyes. And a new cologne I hadn't bought. Not for his birthday, not for anything. He started showering at odd times. His phone, once forgotten on the nightstand, was now always with him, even to the bathroom. I didn't ask. I didn't accuse. I watched. One night, I noticed a smudge of lipstick on his shirt collar. It was subtle, nude, not red. He laughed when I pointed it out, said it must have been from a hug at work. Just Emily being Emily, he said. But Emily didn't wear lipstick. I knew that because I met her. Still, I let him talk. That's the thing about liars. If you stay quiet long enough, they start filling in the blanks for you. He began telling me things I never asked. He said the meetings were stressful, that his boss was pushing him too hard, that maybe when things calmed down, we could take a trip. Just the two of us. I nodded. I even smiled, but I wasn't listening to what he said. I was watching his eyes and waiting for the truth to slip. There were nights when he came home smelling like something I didn't recognize. Not perfume, not cologne, just a scent that didn't belong to us. He would walk past me, say, "Long day," and head straight to the shower. And when I'd offer to join him, like we used to, he'd laugh, dismiss it with a quick, "Maybe later." Later never came. I stopped reaching out. Instead, I paid attention. I noticed how he always kept his phone face down, how he started locking the door while getting dressed, how the calls he used to answer in front of me now happened behind closed doors. I once asked him who he was talking to. He smiled, rubbed my arm, and said, "Just the guys. You wouldn't know them." That was the first time I felt invisible in my own house. I began keeping a journal. Not for healing, for documentation, dates, times, words he said, expressions he made. It wasn't about catching him anymore. It was about not letting myself forget what betrayal looks like when it's unfolding in real time. Because sometimes we lie to ourselves better than anyone else ever could. And I was done with that. I knew that asking would give him time to prepare, and I didn't want his version of the story. I wanted the truth, so I became someone else. Quiet, calm, watching everything. I started checking the bank statements, the ones he assumed I never read. There were dinners charged to our joint account at places we'd never been together. Small hotel charges with vague names like Downtown Comfort Suites. One transaction stood out, $87 at a jewelry store. No new ring for me, no bracelet, just a receipt that said, "Gold necklace." Engraving, "Always yours." I didn't break down. I took a screenshot, filed it. I kept notes, dates, times, charges. I created a folder on my laptop named Insurance, password protected, hidden behind layers only I could access. I waited until he was asleep to check his phone. The passcode hadn't changed. He was careless, or maybe arrogant. The messages were short, coded. Same place. Can't wait to feel you. One picture, her hand resting on his chest. I zoomed in. Her nails were painted a very specific color. Pale rose. One chipped on the side. I remembered that color. From somewhere else. A few days later, I saw that same hand reach out across a table. We were at a charity event. He introduced her casually. "This is Tara. We work together sometimes." She smiled at me with that perfect, practiced grace. Her hand extended. Pale rose polish, same chip. I shook it and smiled back. Because now the story had a name and a face. From there, it was all about the pieces. I created a second email, anonymous. I used it to book a photographer, one who specialized in corporate events. Except this event would be very specific. I gave him a time, a location, a license plate, and then I waited. A few days later, I got an email with a subject. Got them. The photos were clear. Him and Tara at a boutique hotel 2 towns over, walking in separately. Leaving together hours later. Laughing, holding hands. In one shot, his hand is on her lower back, just like he used to guide me into restaurants. In another, she's resting her head on his shoulder. Like they'd done it 100 times. Like they weren't burning someone else's world to feel alive. I saved every photo, printed copies, labeled each one by date. I wasn't just gathering evidence, I was building a case because I wasn't planning to yell. I was planning to end it on my terms. I didn't confront him. I thanked him for being such a hard worker, for staying late, for taking care of us. He smiled, kissed my forehead, and left for another long night. I watched his car disappear, then walked straight to my laptop. The envelope was already sealed. Inside, printed photos, receipts, the necklace receipt, the title on the outside, for when you need to remember who you really are. It wasn't for him, it was for her. I waited until Friday, her birthday. She'd be at work, distracted. I hand-delivered the envelope to the receptionist at her office. "Just a gift," I said, with a smile. Then I walked away. That same afternoon, his phone buzzed 3 times. He didn't notice, but I did. I excused myself to the kitchen, checked the screen. First, "Why would you do this to me?" Then, "Do you think this is funny?" And finally, "Don't ever contact me again." When I walked back in, his smile was gone. "Something wrong?" I asked. He shook his head. "No, just work stuff." I nodded. "Of course," I said. That night I poured 2 glasses of wine, told him we should celebrate. "Celebrate what?" he asked. I raised my glass. "Closure." He looked confused, and then I handed him a copy of the same envelope I gave her. He opened it slowly. The color drained from his face. "What is this?" "The truth," I said. "Now we're even." He tried to speak. "I was going to tell you." "No," I interrupted. "You were going to keep lying until it became too messy to hide." I stood up. "But don't worry," I added. "I already made the decision for both of us." The divorce papers were on the counter. Sign. "You can keep the lies," I said. "I'm keeping my peace." People always ask if I miss him. I don't. What I miss is a version of me who still believed him. The woman who smiled at his promises. The one who said, "I trust you," and meant it. She's gone. But I don't mourn her anymore, because in her place stands someone sharper, quieter, and much harder to break. I don't check phones now. I don't chase explanations. I watch. I listen. And if someone shows me who they really are, I believe them the first time. He didn't just lose a wife. He lost a witness to his story, someone who believed in the good in him, even when he didn't deserve it. And me? I gained something better than closure. I gained clarity. If you're watching this and your gut is whispering that something's wrong, stop silencing it. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're being prepared. And when the time comes, when the truth finally finds you, don't beg. Don't chase. Don't ask for love that was never real. Just walk, quietly, stronger, and leave the ashes behind you. Healing didn't happen overnight. At first, I woke up reaching for him. Muscle memory is cruel like that. The silence was louder than the lies, the bed too big, my reflection too honest. But each day, the ache faded just a little. I changed the sheets, donated the sweater he left behind. I stopped checking his social media. I stopped wondering if she still wore that necklace. I started living again without needing to understand everything. One day, I saw him across the street. He didn't see me. He looked older, tired, like the weight of all the lies had finally found a home on his shoulders. And for a brief second, I felt pity, but just for a second, because I remembered the version of me that loved him. The version that asked questions and got half-truths in return. The one who made excuses for his coldness. And I realized I'd outgrown her. She was part of the story, but I was the one who rewrote the ending. And now, I tell the truth for the ones who stayed silent. For the ones still doubting their gut. For the ones who need to hear. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are not overthinking. You are waking up. And when you do, don't just survive. Rise. A few months later, I ran into her, Tara, at the grocery store of all places. She was in the wine aisle, holding a cheap bottle, hair in a messy bun. No trace of the woman who used to wear silk blouses and fake smiles. She saw me before I saw her, froze. I kept walking, calm, but just as I passed her, she said my name. I didn't mean to hurt you. I stopped, turned my head just enough to meet her eyes. You didn't hurt me, I said. You freed me. And I walked away. I didn't look back. I didn't need to.